What is up? 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 It is your girl, Miss T, and we are tapping in. So, before we get started, you know how it goes. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. Please hit the subscription button so that you won't miss anything. And if you are a return subscriber, thanks for stopping by again. So, let's just tap right into this little topic. And the topic that I want to talk about today is stepping off your throne. Yo, it is so freaking important to not step off your throne. And I have to go through this because we're at a certain age, I think like anybody over 35. Anybody, yeah, I'm gonna say anybody over 35. It's like you're at a point where you've either been in a long relationship or you're breaking up out of a long relationship. And it's kind of a point in your life where you start changing what's important to you changes. You start changing your routine, your behaviors, your thought process, how you do things, how you see things, how you envision the future. And it's so critical because if you're in a long relationship, a long lasting relationship, you have to think, is that person that you're with moving according to how you're moving? On the same timeline, on the same ride, at the same exact time. And if that isn't happening, it becomes very difficult to coexist in a relationship. Now, I'm trying to break it down as simple as I can, but I think it's like, you know what? Let me try to give you a scenario. Like you have dreams and goals that you're trying to reach. I don't know if you want to own a business, you want to buy some property, maybe you want to get married, maybe you want to have children, maybe you want to travel. There's so many things that you might want to do. And the person that you're with may not be ready to do those things. Let's say you're ready to buy a house. That's one of your goals. So you've been on top of your credit. You've been making sure that, all your bills are paid. Your debt to income ratio is decent enough to be able to qualify for a home. And the person that you're with, that type of stuff isn't important to them. So if that is not important to them, how do you two together achieve that one goal? So do you at that point step down from your throne to meet them on their level if they're not ready to come up to your level? And when love is involved and time is involved, it's really difficult to stand on your throne and not look at the other person as a peasant. And that's no disrespect to the people that we love, but you're trying to build a kingdom. You're trying to build a queendom. And if that person that you're with isn't ready, what do? It's just a crazy time. It's a crazy place to be in. So do you get to the point it's like screw love, I'm out? Or do you sit there and you try to bring them up? Because what I've learned is they will bring you down quicker than you're able to bring them up. It's like when somebody's drowning. When they're drowning, if you jump in and you try to help a person that is drowning, while you're trying to pull them up, they're trying to pull you down. They're trying to push you down so they can get on top of you to save themselves. It's a crazy scenario, but it's exactly what it is. So do you step off your throne to meet them where they are? Heck no. Heck no, you do not step off your throne. It's easier said than done. Absolutely. But that's just what it is. So you have that situation. Then you have the situation of, because I'm talking about the age difference and where we are in life and the way we think and stuff like that. So now you have this where let's say you were in a long lasting relationship and now you aren't for whatever reasons. And now you're meeting people. How hard, how difficult, or how easy is it to meet people on your same level? And what I'm seeing, what I'm noticing from, a lot of different people that I speak to, relationship wise, men at this point, when they get out of a long lasting relationship, they're not ready to jump right back in one because they feel like they've lost some time, they've lost some years, they've lost the ability to do what they want and move how they want. And I'm not talking about, other women and just being out there messing with chicks. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about getting themselves on a level in which they want to be. So it's easier for them to concentrate on themselves and get themselves where they want to be, as opposed to bringing another human on and being accountable for that human, because real men are accountable. They hold themselves accountable for the women that's in their lives. So you have the men who want to handle their handle, and then the women, and this is real funny, and I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say when I say this part. When it's a certain type of woman that's used to being in a relationship, that's used to, having like that family orientation about her, and, it's difficult for those type of women to just be friends with a dude. It's real difficult because you're used to a certain type of relationship. So you're not going to be dating multiple men. If you're seeing this one guy who's trying to get his life where he wants it to be, and he wants to, like, he likes to hang out with you, you're cool when you're together, the frequency, the vibe, and everything clicks, but he doesn't want to be in a relationship, which is understandable because he just got out of a long-term relationship. And it might have been a year or 2 or 3 or whatever the case may be, but he's working on some things. Where does that leave you as a woman? Again, do you step off your throne to reach his level? I don't know. I mean, it's a question that everybody probably will answer differently. And to each his own. Judge-free zone here. But it's definitely something to think about. And again, I have to say, through experience and maybe my experiences or people around me, my suggestion to women and to men would be to never step off your throne. Never step off your throne for somebody, because it's not going to work out. Because what happens is, once you step off your throne and you're not, a couple of years, months go by, and you're not where you envisioned yourself to be, you're going to have resentment against the person that you're with, because you're going to feel like it's their fault because you stepped off your throne to meet them at where they were. This is why I think that when you're in long-term relationships and you've been together for a while, it's very important to have those detailed conversations. Don't just assume that you're in the same space. I suggest, and I really think it's good that people have date night. You know what I mean? You get up, you get dressed, you go out. Even if it's not every week or once a month or whatever it is, check in with one another. Get dressed, go out, sit across from one another at a dinner table, eye to eye, and have those same conversations that you used to have when you were dating, when you were getting to know one another. Because what happens, you get into these relationships and you become so comfortable and just, you think you know the person, and you may know them to a certain extent. But like I said, people are constantly evolving and changing and having thoughts about their future. And when you sit at home and you have those conversations, you don't get the same spill. You get one person sitting on a couch, probably on their phone, distracted by the TV. If there's children involved, probably distracted by the children. Or you're just so comfortable that, you might just fall asleep, or you just might not be that into the conversation. But again, you go back to the days when you first started dating, and you would go out and you would have the conversations, and you would get to know one another, and you would, discover things about that person that you didn't know. And it is so important to continue to do that throughout the relationship. Because like I said, people are constantly growing and evolving. And if you're at home and you just assume that you two are on the same page, the same level, the same book, you might be missing something very, very important. And you don't want to wake up one day and person A is trying to go left and person B is trying to go right. If you had those conversations, you would know exactly where each person was trying to go and what they were trying to do and why they were trying to do it and what the plan was to get it done. Because the important thing is, when you're in a relationship, it's important to have a plan together. It's important to know what's important to the other person. And again, I have to keep repeating myself on this. When you're in a long-term relationship, it leaves a lot of room for assuming things. And that's the worst thing you can do, is assume that somebody is on a level in which you are. It's crazy because a lot of times people get very relaxed in their lifestyle. Even if you live in a great neighborhood and you're driving an okay car and you have a decent job, some people are okay with that. They don't want anything more because they know that they have a better living situation than they had before. And you, on the other hand, you may have had, or you just may have recently acquired a finer taste of things in life. Maybe it's a finer car. Maybe it's a new career. Maybe it's a new living location. And if you haven't had those conversations, where does that leave you? Again, do you step off your throne? Same answer. Heck no. Heck no. Heck no. Those are the people who have been together for a while. Back to the new people who just hooked up, or whatever the case is, or just newly started dating. I learned a valuable lesson when I reintroduced myself into the dating field. A very, very valuable lesson. And it was communication. And as much as I thought, because I consider myself to be a talker, talking and communicating is just two separate animals. So reintroducing myself into the dating game, and currently with the king that I'm with right now, I realized communication is key. It sounds cliche, but it's key. And I'm talking communication on the wants for later in life. What's important for later in life? What's important at this moment? The crazy, everybody asks this question: where do you see yourself in 5 years? That kind of communication is super important at this age frame in which we are, with the dating in existing relationships and new relationships. Those type of conversations, that communication is extremely important. And I think a lot of people rush through that part of it. Especially women. I think we rush through that part because we want to be in a relationship. Especially the women who are homebodies and, like the homebody women. We want to be in a relationship because we feel comfortable. So it leaves room for gaps. until you have that very, very, very sensitive conversation. That communication is so sensitive because what happens is you reveal things that are important, things that may break the relationship, things that may make him want to pause. And he's revealing that same type of stuff. So it's like sometimes we don't even want to hear it. So we kind of like parlay and walk around it and, just like, oh, we're having a great time. But you got to forget the great time that's being had. And if you're just having a great time, then just have a great time and don't push it towards a relationship. Even though we are the prefer to be in a relationship type women. So again, do you step off your throne? Same answer. No. Not just for queens. This answer goes for the kings too. Don't step off your throne. Just think about that. Just think about that whole scenario in the age bracket and where we are. And that's why I commend people who have been together for a very long time in this age bracket. And I don't want to say just been together. I want to say that have been successfully happy together. Not just together under the circumstances of paying the bills or for the kids. They're people who genuinely want to be together. I take my hat off to those people because it takes a lot to have a long-lasting relationship and to grow with a person at the same time on the same path and wanting the same things. It takes a lot for two people to come together magically on the same page at the same time, wanting the same thing, on the same grind with the same hustle. So again, I take my hat off to those people. But for the rest of us who are newly in relationships or just coming out of relationships or whatever the case may be, this is a very difficult time for us, I must say. But I think I'm done. I'm going to wrap that up real quick. I mean, it's just something to think about. You guys can leave a comment. You can share the video, like the video, give it a thumbs up. And again, if this is your first time here, please subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Woo! Hey.